Hi everyone, and welcome back to Project 40. Today, there's a hole in my Punto, and we need to fix it. There should be something here, and that should be a factory fit 5 CD changer made by Blaupunkt. It isn't. So I've moved from the Punto to my chem fan to kind of show you a little bit more where these CD changers tend to go wrong. So this is one I've tried to fix earlier, which is why it's in complete bits. And as you can see, it hasn't been terribly successful. So the main problem where these tend to break down is that it has a very intricate way of getting the disc loaded, essentially. What you'll have is you have this cartridge here where the discs slot in, and essentially all the discs will slot in these sort of spaces here, or these slots here, and then the mechanism will wind itself on 3 points, 3 axes, and what tends to happen is these essentially run out of grease. As you can see, this one here is kind of greased up, but these two aren't, and that means you have essentially the disc lowering a different point, and after a while it basically just gets stuck, which is what this one has. This one winds down, and I've tried to get it synchronized back up, but basically I broke it. But I have managed to find some replacements, one via Facebook Marketplace and one off eBay that's actually off a Maserati Quattroporte of the same vintage of the Punto. So fingers crossed one of them works. Even if it was brand new, it can still have the same faults, i.e. the grease can dry up and it might not move. So why buy one when 2 were available is my thinking. Hopefully one of them works, but even if both of them work, then I've got a backup, and I'd rather have a second one lying around than not buy it or send it back and then have the other one break and not have a replacement. That's the thinking. So with the head unit, you can see that it's lost a bunch of lines. It's kind of common with LCDs of this era. Problem is, I don't know if I can actually get this replaced. I think trying to find this is going to be quite difficult, so I need to make a decision about what to do with this head unit. I don't want to get like an aftermarket unit, so being that this is from the kind of the blobby era of interior styling from the mid 2000s, I don't really want to get something that's just going to stick out like a sore thumb if I can avoid it. So I've got a replacement head unit, but it's not the sat nav one, which is a bit of a shame, but it might be, it might look a little bit nicer. I mean, having this broken LCD, I don't think the sat nav really works all that well. The
route is being calculated.
Oh, it is audio driven. Being able to using this as actually as a sat nav.
The route has been calculated.
Handy. I don't know how much use this would actually be as a sat nav, because it's from 2002, so the directions are going to be woefully inaccurate, but also you couldn't read the directions anyway, so there might be audio directions, but I don't know how good that's going to be. So realistically, as long as I can get a head unit that still looks OEM, that can also communicate with the 5 CD changer, probably that's the better idea. I won't throw away the old head unit, but I am going to replace it with this thing. So I'm going to trial fit it. I'm going to keep the existing head unit probably in for now, but it's nice to see, I want to make sure this thing works without any problems. You can see this has come from a scrapyard, because why would they bother keeping the loom when they can just cut it off? But I've got all of these anyway, so I don't need to worry about these bits. But it's nice just to be able to have a backup should the other ones start to play up. Because it's from a Mark II Punto, it's still going to look factory. So I get a little upgrade in capability. In theory, it still works with the CD changer, which is what I want. But more importantly, it should fit and it should just work. This is my replacement CD changer. Managed to get it from Facebook Marketplace for 50 quid. Hadn't been used, came with the code and the manual, all that sort of stuff. Looks absolutely mint. hasn't been used at all, and for only 50 quid, technically it was 30 quid, but I paid them extra to ship it because it was from, I think, somewhere near Coventry, so I couldn't be bothered to drive all the way there and back. Right, so that fits. So the next question is just feeding the cable back. And slotting it in. So it should just be a case of loading the CD in. Okay, well, it's winded. Okay, so that does not seem to be communicating with the CD changer. So I've got a CD in the top, but that's not. If I remove the CD, does it work then? Oh, hello. So I can't. That's really strange. So I can put a CD in here, but not in here. Does that mean that this won't work with the sat nav? Still working. Okay, so all right, I mean, that's fine. So I don't need a 6 CD changer, 5 is fine, but it's weird that it seems to have a failure mode where if there is an audio CD in the main head unit, it won't even recognize or access the CD changer. That's pretty strange, but oh well, such is life. Good to know. So now that we've got a working CD changer, I want to see if I can test that new head unit. So it should just be a case of putting the removal tools, removing that, and removing this. So there's a radio and a couple of those. So that is the old head unit. Crusty. And then connecting the new ones. Well, the new old ones. The existing ones. Does it switch on? What does can check mean? It sounds like it's got a CD in there. Alright, I think we may be on to a bit of a loss here because this is looking for, I don't know if it's a CAN bus check or something, but looking online, I don't think this unit's ever going to work with my Punto. Boo! So I'll probably need to send this one back and stick with the existing head unit. Oh well, it was worth a try. One thing worked, one thing didn't. Oh well, it just works out that way sometimes. It's my fault for not doing a little bit more research before clicking that buy it now button. I just assumed it because it came from a Mark IIB Punto that it probably fit a Mark II Punto. My fault, it didn't. But more importantly, the original head unit still works, which is great. And more importantly, that 5 CD changer is 100%, which is fantastic. So it means I actually have some music on the go. Because we've got some big trips coming up. August 13th, we're going to be at Festival Italia at Brands Hatch. Come say hi if you are going to be there. And we're also going to Shedfest at the end of next month as well. So quite a few trips coming up for the Punto. So having some music is really, really important. So I'm glad that CD changer is working. It would have been nice having that MP3 option, but let's face it, who has MP3s these days anyway? Not me. So I think I was doing more for aesthetic reasons than for music reasons. And with that, we're done with another video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you consider liking, subscribing, and if you are going to Festival Italia or Shed Fest, let me know in the comments. It'd be great to chat face to face. Catch you down the road.